this.
We're live.
Oh, hi.
Pretty sure we're live here.
All right.
Hey, it's Lisa Kneller here with my friend and fellow coach, Colleen McCloskey. We are two certified insight coaches, and we are talking tonight about Inspire to Write. Two coaches discuss how to use journaling to, what was it, Colleen?
How we use journaling to create, but then also to release. I know you were really big on using it for releasing, but then also like creating. So how we're using it to create the thoughts that we want and create the reality that we want through writing.
Yes. So journaling spans a lot of different, there are a lot of different methods for journaling. And I will start by saying I have not been a lifelong journaler, although my entire immediate family have been journaling for a very, very long time. And I sort of picked it up about maybe 4 or 5 years ago as a serious thing. And I'd love to know when you started journaling, Colleen.
So, yeah, it's interesting. I've actually always been writing in a diary. Ever since like I can remember learning how to write, I always had a book, and it's always been in more of the releasing the thoughts that are going on right here, right now. A lot of time, like as a teenager and growing up, it just releasing whatever I'm thinking, poetry, things like that. But it wasn't until later on that I really became more intentional with what I'm writing and just using it in a different way. But yeah, it's interesting you ask, because when I really look back, I bet that I could find like stacks and stacks of books back at, my childhood house that is just full of all kinds of crazy stuff. It would be fun actually to weed through it and see the patterns of some of the things that have spiraled through my mind these past many years.
Yeah. So my daughter, Lauren, has been journaling, I want to say since she was like 9 or something. I don't really remember, but she's 30 now. And I would be interested to see what she would have to say about looking back at all the various journals. She used to do some co-journaling with girlfriends and things like that. And I'm going to share some of my methods for journaling in a little bit, but I'd really like to know like how you use journaling primarily and how you would inspire others or encourage others to use it in the way that you use it.
Okay. So I guess I started out really being intentional with my journaling. And it was through a program. It was one of those 99, it was actually Carolyn Grimm's 99-Day Dare. And I really became more intentional about what I was writing. And so I learned at this time to write down whatever goal that I had and then and write it as if it's already happened or that it's happening right now. Like what it is that I wanted to create. What is I want to create into my life? And then writing what it feels like to have it. So you're feeling these feelings of, what is it like to really have this? And if it doesn't just feel so good that it just like brings you to tears almost because you finally have it, then maybe that isn't necessarily the goal that you want to work on. You really want something that is going to just feel like you just feel so happy. And when it's towards something that is really for your highest purpose, it does feel really, really good, right? So yeah, that's how I started out. I do things a little bit differently now but that was the beginning of it. Probably I would say 5 years ago, I started to be just more intentional about how I'm writing. And I would write down my 5 goals. I would read them in the morning, and I would read them sometimes at night too. Write about the feeling of having it, and then just really feeling that. And it's almost like it's working for you because you're already in the vibration of having it, because you're reading it and then you're writing it and you're feeling it. It's coming into your subconscious mind, and it just, things just kind of start happening.
This is what you're talking about is very much law of attraction type of journaling, right? Like really envisioning your future, like living it out in your writing, right? And in your mind and in your writing, and being able to manifest the stuff that you want in your life, how you want your life to be in advance. Does that sound right?
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
Yeah, that's definitely dead on. That, yeah, we're just like creating what it is that we want to see. Yeah.
Yeah. It's so funny. I was listening to a podcast with Brooke Castillo today, and she was talking a little bit about that. Her topic today was so cool. I think you'd love it. It was like woo woo versus practical living, and how she's combined the two to create a life that she loves. And I think we should talk about that sometime. Future topic: woo woo stuff, like being kind of out there, and then practical living stuff, and then combined, they can really help you to have a fun and creative life. So in the future.
Love it. What immediately comes to mind when I think about that is, and it's so powerful, it's so awesome, is, the vision, but then also grounding it, So like we have like our imagination expands with like, what could be possible for my life? Like anything is possible. Like, what is it? And so really having that like, expanded vision and that spirit of anything can happen, but then also grounding it, and like grounding it with action, of being like, what can I do every day to like, create more action with it? And like, how can I really make this practical reality? So yeah, it's cool. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. So with that, I'm going to take it into a grounding practice, because this is kind of where I'm at. And I do the visioning work too. And I do the I am statements too. I do all of that. But like my more mundane journaling is kind of, first of all, I want to say that if you're out there, you've never tried journaling, I want you to consider it at least, and encourage you to try it. And if you don't like it and it's not your thing, it's not your thing, right? But sometimes we start journaling and then we like walk away from it for a while, which is totally fine. Like if you take a break from journaling, don't feel guilty about it. Just maybe come back when you're ready. It's not like this kind of thing you have to do every day. You only do it every day if you get jazzed by it. If like it's something that really helps you in some way, And so one of the things we talked about is that Colleen and I talked about are the benefits of journaling, like just releasing your emotions and your thoughts onto paper. And kind of, it's like a stress releaser is basically what it is. And then the other part of that, she was talking about creating. So I'm going to talk about the releasing a little bit and give you some ideas of how you might journal in a variety of ways. So one of the ways is, and a friend of mine, Jackie, taught me this, is just pick a word, like one word that you write down on the paper. You could write the date if you want. You could write something of gratitude if you want. If you want to use your journal for as a gratitude practice, you can do that. You can include your gratitude statement at the beginning of your writing. You could pick one word and just journal on that word. And what I do is I set my timer on my phone for 5 minutes. And I just write for 5 minutes on that one word. That's a little kind of a mini brain dump. Another idea is to like, just pick a phrase, just pick a phrase or a sentence or a thought that comes to your mind and start writing about that. Maybe you set your timer for 5 to 10 minutes. And this is for people that really don't want to spend all morning writing, right? They don't have a lot of time. So you just set your timer, and that way you're like, okay, I know I only have to do this for 5 minutes and then I'm done. You could pick an issue, like something that's bothering you that you just want to get down on paper and you want to release it to the paper. And write your thoughts and feelings about the issue. And then we could, like, another topic for us, Colleen, would be self-coaching. So we could talk about how do you self-coach on an issue once you've written down the problem, right? Another way of journaling is just treating it like a diary. Well, this morning I had eggs for breakfast and my friend Julie came over and we had coffee, or like however you want to do it. Like I've done that kind of writing as well, just kind of a review of the day. And then like what you mentioned, Colleen, was like a total brain dump, like just really writing your heart out to get all your thoughts and feelings out on paper of what's going on in your life that day or that week. And that's also a tool for self-coaching, is just getting it all down on paper. Julia Cameron, who wrote The Artist's Way, she encourages everyone to do their morning pages. Are you familiar with the morning pages?
You know, I'm just getting into it now. I had a friend years ago that mentioned to read that. And I just started with the audiobook. And that's about where I'm at right now with the mental page. Yeah, talk about it. Come on, give me a little preview.
Yeah, so she suggests like first thing in the morning. And you know, if you're a meditator, you could do it after your meditation or whatever. But like she talks about writing 3 full pages like every morning. Well, I started doing that exercise and it was taking me a really long time. And I was like, oh my gosh, I don't have time to write 3 full pages. But I did it for a while as an exercise. I got a lot of thoughts down on paper, but it just became too much for me. So I just decided I don't have to write 3 pages. I can write whatever I want. And I can set my timer for 5 minutes and I don't have to do that.
Yeah.
Now, if you love writing and you want to do that, by all means, if you've got the time, I would encourage you to try it and see how that feels for you. I wanted to share some of my journals with you. So, another thing you could do with your journaling is like, there's this cool book. I wanted to share this too with you, Colleen. It's called The Book of Awakening by Mark Nepo. And his writings are just like little short chapters. They're like little readings for the day. So you could like read spiritual or wisdom literature and write on that, 1 page. And then you could just start to write your thoughts about that. So I want to share with you, show you some of my beautiful journals. This is the one I'm using right now. And this is by Peter Popper Press. Has the little ribbon in it, so it saves your place. And this was my very first Peter Popper Press journal. I got this at Barnes and Noble, I guess. And a lot of bookstores carry them. But they're so pretty. They're lined, and I love them. I have this journal that says No Limits. And I'm using this particular journal for work that I'm doing with my coach and work that I'm doing with my mastermind. So I have a mastermind group, and I'm using that specifically just for that. And then I have some empty journals, journals that like I literally wrote 2 pages in, and then I just put them aside and forgot to ever write in them again. So if you've done that, you're not alone. And I have a food journal. So this is where I keep what I eat. And I'm not super consistent with that, but it's just something I have in the kitchen that like if I want to start tracking what I'm eating, then I can use that. And then I just have this one final thing before you jump back in, Colleen. I did this cool thing with my daughter when she was in college. So this is our mother-daughter journal that when she went to college, I started writing in the journal. Dear Lauren, and I started writing, and then I would put it in her suitcase. And then she would get to college and she would open it up and find the journal. And then she would write back to me. And then I would go visit her and she'd put the journal back in my suitcase. And we just sort of went back and forth like that. I want to say her first maybe year and a half of college. And then we stopped. It was kind of like, okay, that's enough. That was fun. But
that's so cute. That's such a good idea.
It's very special. And I have that as a keepsake. She let me have it, and someday when I'm gone, she'll get it back. So,
yeah, so cute. I love that.
Yeah.
And thank you for sharing all your journals. They're so pretty.
Thank you. Yeah, and you're welcome. It's kind of fun.
This is mine that I am be you, and it just kind of every day. It's like what I go to. And I have another one that's absolutely beautiful that I can't wait to open, but I just feel a need to like finish all the pages in here first before I jump into the next one. But yeah, thank you for sharing all that you did about journaling. Yeah, one of the things that you said in particular about just kind of writing like, dialogue about what's happening during the day. I think that's a great way to start, even if you're like, I'm not really sure what to write about. Like, I think if you're brand new to journaling, it's just such a great way to start, because what happens, I think that when you kind of start off in that way and you're like, all right, I want to just kind of vent about, okay, this is what's happening today. And your hand kind of just starts to go and you're just kind of, stuff is just coming out. Things are just like kind of pouring out that may hit on something that's a little bit deeper, that may bring insights to yourself that make you realize, oh, that's what I was thinking. Oh, and it just might help you to reframe things in a little bit of a different way if you just kind of have that mental, release of allowing yourself to just write whatever thoughts that are coming, but starting off with the mundane, right? Starting off with like, I had toast for breakfast, I put an avocado on it.
Or even writing like, I don't know what to write today.
Right.
Something as simple as that, like a true and honest thought like that, right?
Right. And just allowing your, hand to just go. Yeah. I love that. If you don't really know what to do, how to start writing. And I find that there are certain times where you can really figure out some big problems, or just you write things, and when it actually comes out of you, there's something that happens a little bit differently. There's something about writing it, that's something that happens that can really bring a lot of healing, a lot of clarity, just the process of like putting it outside of yourself. Sometimes it just takes life in a different way and it changes its form,
Yeah, and I think particularly if you've had some difficult experiences or trauma that is difficult to talk about, you could talk about it with yourself through this exercise of writing. And like you said, find out some deeper insights that come along as you're writing. Yeah.
So one of the other things that I do, as far as just like a quick one that I'd like to share, actually a friend shared it with me, and I was like, nice way to get in just 5 minutes, is writing 5 things that you're grateful for. Mm-hmm. Again, kind of working that law of attraction, kind of working, what is it in my life that like I really am feeling gratitude for right now? Because like, we remember that the more that we're thinking about, these things that we are loving in our life, the more we're seeing them everywhere. We're programming our minds to see more of them, the more we put those thoughts into our mind, and the more that we're talking about them, writing about them, thinking about them. So we're kind of like programming ourselves, in a certain way. So writing those 5 things down, and then writing the 5 things of what's going to happen today. Like, I'm going to show up as like an awesome OT today. I'm going to really serve my students well. I'm going to coach powerfully today. These are the kind of conversations. I'm going to listen deeply. And again, just putting that out into the world of saying, this is what's going to happen. Sometimes I'll write something really specific that I'll get a message from somebody, or, I'll have, I'll reconnect with a friend, so sometimes I'll be more specific, and just like using the law of attraction work, we're putting it out there, and then we're also, we're looking for it. Right. Yeah. So those 5 and 5, and then at the end, just writing an affirmation for yourself. Like, what do you need to hear for yourself today? Like how are you going to show up today? And like, what is it that you really need to hear today? What is it that you need to hear that's just going to make you feel like you got this? I feel safe and loved and supported today. And yes. I feel safe and loved and supported, and however else you can branch that out. What do you need to hear? If you were your own coach, what would it be that you need to hear today? Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. I love that idea of intentional writing and having 5 positive things to say to yourself and five things to be grateful for. You know, that's a really great practice for someone who really doesn't have a gratitude practice. And my gratitude practice is a little different. I kind of keep a log of stuff on a little notepad like this at work. And every morning I write the date at the top of it. And underneath that, I write, I am grateful for. And it's just one thing. I do it every day, except for the weekends, because it's not, you know, those aren't work days. But I've been doing this for at least 2 years. And I find something every single day. It could be a freaking fork. You know what I mean? Like it could just be my pillow or the mouse pad, or, you know, that I can smell flowers today and I can see, and that kind of thing. And there's just so much. And like you said, when you start to write these things down and you put that in your consciousness, you do start to expand and see even more that you're grateful for.
Yeah, definitely.
So good.
I love it. I love that you do it too. Yeah, it's just, we have so many thoughts throughout our mind, like throughout the whole day of, you know, and what are the things that we're saying, I'm going to let go of that? And what are the ones that we're like, yeah, more of this, more of this? And are we really taking that time to decide, well, wait a minute, that's not something I want in my consciousness. These are the thoughts that I do. And so, you know, by, you know, right first thing in the morning, creating this routine, you know, it's about these little habits in our routine that we do every single day that all of a sudden create something that's really big, you know, create something that's just substantial, that's really working for our lives. And it's almost just like, it's just happening. It's just working, you know, and it's just, things are kind of falling into place and things are just, you know, happening. And it's because of these little habits every single day that we do to heal, release, create ourselves. Right?
Yeah, I'm going to be honest here and say that this morning I did get a chance to write, and I was feeling a little sorry for myself, and I was really tired. And I was writing my thoughts about that, and I was noticing like that I was writing my thoughts about that. And then I finished up on a more positive note. But I felt okay about it because I felt like this is something I need to get off my chest. I just need to say that I'm tired. Right here, right now, I'll be done with it, and then I can move on. So, so Colleen, do you do this every single day? Do you do it first thing in the morning after meditation? When do you do it typically?
So I do it first thing in the morning, and right now I'm doing I go in between the I am statements, really looking at my personal life, I am, how I'm creating my life, social, you know, abundance, like, you know, all these different areas. I do it first thing in the morning and sometimes at night too. Yeah. How about you?
Okay. So I prefer to do my writing in the morning, and I don't really find time every morning. Some mornings I sleep later. And so I just kind of, you know, get ready for, take a shower and get ready for work and start working. And I don't have time. So I don't beat myself up over it. I'm trying right now to journal a minimum of 1 time per week. And of course, trying to get in more than that. I try to do it as often as I can. But again, I just don't beat myself up over it. It's just like when I get to it, I get to it. And then I really enjoy it when I get to it, you know?
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, awesome. Well, this was an awesome combo. I just learned a lot about something.
Me too.
And it just kind of inspires me right now to create, you know, more writing experiences in the morning, and just, you know, focusing a little bit more on that, just writing about whatever's going on and kind of letting myself explore and expand a little bit more, rather than necessarily always doing the law of attraction stuff. Like there's more of just like releasing and being and bringing some of that groundedness into of just what is. So I love that you kind of brought that out in me a little bit today. So thank you. Thank you so much. It's so good.
And thank you too, because I'm going to work the other end of it a little bit more and do more of the visioning stuff. So this was great. Cool. I'm going to ask you, if you are watching this video and you've enjoyed it, I would love for you, like if you have a picture of your favorite journal to share that, or if you have thoughts about your journaling that you want to share, we would love for you to comment below the videos. So thanks for joining us, everyone. I hope you got something out of this. Yeah.
If anybody wants to get in touch with you because you are a coach, how should they get in touch with you?
Well, Facebook is really the best. Lisa Kneller with the Kneller. And you can message me there.
Okay, same here.
And how about you? How do you spell your name, Colleen, so they can find you?
So it's Colleen, and then my last name, McCloskey. And best thing is just direct message me, and we can start a conversation.
So fun to have conversations. Yeah. All right. Have a good night, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.